Good morning, America. Chaos at the White House. President Trump faces bipartisan backlash over this context between his team and Russian intelligence officials during the campaign, as he blames the intelligence community and the press for costing his national security advisor his job.
I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media, as I call it, the fake media in many cases.
And the president's pick for labor secretary withdraws his nomination, the role Oprah Winfrey played in his downfall.
Flash flood alert. The strongest storm of the season moving into Southern California. After a week of heavy rain and flooding, mudslides closing down part of I-80. This tree crushing a car. Residents now sandbagging ahead of the next big downpour. Millions on alert for 10 inches of rain in less than 24 hours.
Search for a killer. 2 teenage girls disappear on a hike in Indiana. They Snapchatted these final photos on the trail before authorities finally found their bodies. Now police and the FBI desperately looking for this man spotted on the trail. Did their social media posts put them at risk?
And Mariah Carey's big comeback. The superstar performing in front of a live audience for the first time since that New Year's Eve disaster.
We're missing some of this logo, but it is what it is.
Now singing her new breakup song as she tries to make her triumphant return.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. Happy Thursday. How about the Mariah Carey on Jimmy Kimmel last night?
And she didn't even do an interview last night. She just let her singing do the talking, as they say.
That she did. We're going to have much more on that ahead. But first, let's get right to that new backlash for President Trump over those allegations his campaign was communicating with Russian officials before the election. Our chief White House correspondent, John Karl, is going to start us off this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. The president is lashing out at news organizations and even his own intelligence agencies, but the White House is facing louder and louder calls for answers about contacts between President Trump's team and Russia. President Trump seemed to relish the visit of his closest friend on the world stage, setting a big goal for Middle East peace with Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Good negotiator.
That's the art of the deal.
But overhanging it all, turmoil in the West Wing. The president's first public reaction after the firing of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, attacks on the media and the intelligence community.
General Flynn is a wonderful man. I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media. As I call it, the fake media in many cases. I think in addition to that, from intelligence, papers are being leaked, things are being leaked. It's criminal action, criminal act.
That's a major turnabout from his press secretary's explanation about why Flynn was fired.
The evolving and eroding level of trust as a result of this situation and a series of other questionable instances is what led the president to ask for General Flynn's resignation.
Flynn was caught misleading the White House about his calls with the Russian ambassador. But even with Flynn now gone, the controversy is far from over. U.S. intelligence sources confirm that there were repeated contacts between members of Trump's campaign team and Russian intelligence before the election. Trump has previously denied any such contacts, but on Wednesday, he refused to answer questions about that. Mr. President, can you guarantee that nobody on your campaign had any contacts with the Russians? This morning, Democrats and a growing number of Republicans are demanding answers from the White House.
It's highly disturbing, and it raises more and more questions that Congress has a sworn obligation to get to the bottom of.
We're looking for facts, and we're looking for evidence.
Now, the two top senators on the Judiciary Committee, Democrat Dianne Feinstein, but also Republican Chuck Grassley, are saying they want to be briefed by the FBI director and the Attorney General about what exactly was going on in the contacts between General Flynn and the Russians.
And John, can you tell us more, a little bit more of the reaction from Congress concerning the president saying about the leaks?
Well, there's now a new letter out from the two top Republicans over on the House side asking the Department of Justice's internal watchdog to investigate leaks. This is exactly
what President Trump is looking for. They are basically responding not so much to the controversy about the contacts with Russia, but they want to investigate the leaks coming out of the FBI.
All right, John, thank you.
Yeah, the president, in fact, just had a tweet a minute ago saying those leakers will be caught. Let's get a closer look now on where things stand on the Flynn investigation from our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, the big question, will Flynn face charges for those phone calls with the Russian ambassador? The White House says their counsel determined there was no legal problem.
Good morning, George. Not likely. The law that's in question is called the Logan Act, which prohibits private citizens from negotiating with foreign nations when there's a dispute with the U.S. There's never been a successful prosecution ever. And sources tell me that while Flynn discussed the sanctions, he apparently never made any specific promises to the Russian ambassador.
But Flynn could get caught up in this broader investigation over the contacts between Trump aides and allies with Russians during the campaign.
Absolutely, George. The broader investigation continues. The FBI wants to know if Flynn or other Trump associates were in contact with Russian intelligence before the election.
Right, and some of the associates have already spoken out. Carter Page and Paul Manafort have said they didn't knowingly speak with the Russians. Another big story in the Wall Street Journal this morning suggesting that intelligence officials are withholding key information from the president for fear that it's going to be compromised.
That's right, George. Now, we got strong and angry pushback from the intelligence community yesterday. They said that these allegations are baseless. Now, what's at question here is whether the intelligence community might withhold certain information about sources and methods. That happens from time to time, but what is clear, George, is there's tension between the president and the intelligence community. Yesterday, there were 2 tweets from President Trump talking about the fact that he thought those leaks might be coming from the FBI and the NSA.
Okay, Pierre Thomas, thanks very much.
And George, the Trump administration also fighting a battle on Capitol Hill. President Trump's labor secretary nominee withdrawing his name, facing scrutiny over his professional and personal life after an interview of his ex-wife with Oprah surfaced. Our congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce, has more on all this. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Well, Robin, President Trump is now looking for a new labor secretary nominee. Andrew Puzder was supposed to be here this morning, finally having his confirmation hearing. It had been postponed 4 times, now canceled. He's the first Trump cabinet casualty. Millionaire fast food executive Andrew Puzder withdrawing his nomination for labor secretary, as even Republicans voiced concerns. It comes as Puzder's personal life was put under the spotlight.
The most frightening thing was leaving.
This 1990 tape making the rounds on Capitol Hill. His ex-wife speaking in disguise to Oprah, describing what she says was domestic abuse.
He vowed revenge. He said, "I will see you in the gutter. This will never be over. You will pay for this."
The video given to senators by the host herself. His ex-wife later recanted her allegations, and Puzder has strongly denied them. Senators questioning Puzder's business record, too.
There is ample evidence that Mr. Puzder is a terrible choice to head the agency charged with ensuring that women and men are treated fairly in the workplace.
He once suggested he prefers robots to human employees, saying they're always polite, they always upsell, they never take a vacation. And took aim at his workers' appearance.
My first memo was no more people behind the counter unless they have all their teeth.
He also admitted to employing an undocumented housekeeper for years, though he later paid all necessary back taxes. But it all proved too much for his nomination to survive. Now, in announcing his withdrawal, Puzder said he was honored to have been considered. He is now the 11th cabinet-level nominee to ever withdraw. By comparison, Obama had 3 picks that backed down. Robin.
And Mary, are any other remaining cabinet nominees in jeopardy?
Yeah, Democrats are eyeing Mick Mulvaney for budget director, but so far just 1 Republican is opposing. He is expected to be confirmed later today. Robin.
Right. Mary, thank you. George?
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Let's talk more about this now with Matthew Dowden, our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vagan. Man, let's talk first about, you said yesterday that the president's going to rely on this solid wall of Republican support in the Congress in order to keep his agenda moving. Now, he lost some Republicans on the Puzder nomination yesterday, but overall on the big issues, Republicans are holding firm with him.
Yeah, there seems to be 2 dominant strategies in the Republican Congress today, and using an Old West analogy, there is the circle the wagons. We're going to get into a defensive crouch, bring everybody together, and not going to allow anybody in and protect the president. But then there's a series of scouts, we'll say, that are going out saying we need to find out what the danger is and what the concern is. And so you're seeing some Republican senators, and even beginning nice to see some Republican House members, but that's the two dominant things: a circle the wagons approach, and then some saying, let's find out what's going on.
And Cecilia, when you watch this White House and the president and his staff, you've got the tweets from the president this morning going after the leakers, saying that failing New York Times has to apologize. In some ways, they seem to see the press more as the opposition than the Democrats.
And this is no different than the campaign, of course. I mean, we saw the president chant this at every rally that he had. It's definitely playing out in real time. I was in that press conference yesterday around reporters in the middle of the pack, mainstream reporters who were clearly not happy with the fact that in this press conference, for perhaps the third time with a visit from a foreign leader, did not call on mainstream news organizations, is leaning heavily on calling on conservative outlets. The reason this matters, it's not because we're complaining as journalists, George. This is a huge departure from past administrations who traditionally, presidents have called on the Associated Press, have called on wire services, but they're cherry picking the questions, basically. They're not getting tough questions in these press conferences on basically the news of the day. We didn't see any real questions on Flynn yesterday, and that's a problem, George, when there are real answers that this administration owes about who knew what when.
To me, it's not about whether Cecilia Vega gets to ask a question or John Carl gets asked a question or ABC. It's about no one that has an antagonistic question get answered. I mean, to me, there's two ways that you undermine the First Amendment. There's a full frontal assault on the First Amendment that we see in basically autocratic countries. That's not what's going on here. There's a subtle undermining of the First Amendment. And the subtle undermining of the First Amendment is you call everything fake news that disagrees with you, and you don't call on any reporters that might ask you a question that is at all aggressive and might point out some factual deficiencies.
But Cecilia, they seem pretty determined to think this is going to work for them, that it's going to be effective.
Well, and it might be for the base, and it has been up until now. I don't know how long you can sustain it. I don't know, frankly, how much longer a lot of reporters and media in these briefings and in this press conferences will tolerate this. What you're seeing now is reporters standing up and shouting questions at the president, trying to get his attention. I don't know how much longer he can refuse to answer them.
Cecilia Vega, Matthew Dodd, thanks very much. Let's go over to Michael.
All right, thank you, George. And out of that major storm moving into the west, it could be the strongest to hit Southern California this season. And let's go right to Ginger with the latest on that.
And Michael, already such a wet pattern setting up in parts of California. You can see Pasadena, California, this picture of a giant tree. The ground's so saturated, all it takes is a little wind, and we're going to get more of that. Look at the video from Truckee. Earlier this week, I-80 shut down because of a mudslide. And unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of that as we go into this weekend. Sandbags being filled at Seal Beach, which is just south of Long Beach, and they are all in preparation for tomorrow. The flash flood watches smother from San Diego through Los Angeles into the mountains, up even close to Oroville. And look at this, the series of storms coming at you, the worst again coming tomorrow. We start it right there Friday, 7 a.m., Los Angeles, 7:30. Like the drive time tomorrow, Michael, a mess in L.A.
Wow. You always hear about needing rain in L.A., but you don't need that much.
No, indeed. All right, Ginger, thank you. Now to a breaking headline overseas. Authorities making new arrests in the assassination of the North Korean leader's half-brother. Let's go right to ABC's Matt Gutman with all the details. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. Early this morning, Malaysian police say they arrested 2 more members of a cell of assassins who police say tracked Kim Jong-nam to the Kuala Lumpur airport, despite the fact that he was traveling under an assumed name, and killed him with a fast-acting poison before melting away into that crowded airport. After zeroing in on the suspected assassin in that LOL shirt, this morning, police in Malaysia tightening the noose around a cell of alleged assassins they say killed North Korea's Kim Jong-nam. In this grainy video, Chinese TV claims to show the second suspected female assassin being bundled into a police car in Kuala Lumpur. Kim Jong-nam was the portly playboy and half-brother of current North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. The brothers shared a father you see in this awkward family photo from 1981, North Korea's former dictator. But the brothers were estranged. Kim Jong-nam had reportedly been living the high life in exile in China's gambling mecca of Macau. Kim was awaiting a flight from Malaysia to Macau when police say a woman came from behind and covered his face with a cloth laced with a liquid. Police say it was poison. They say Kim Jong-nam complained of burning in his eyes. He was rushed to the airport clinic. Dizziness quickly led to death. The poison killed him before he reached the hospital. Immediately, investigators began scouring CCTV footage at this airport for 2 alleged femme fatales. 3 arrests have been made, the 2 alleged female assassins and one of their boyfriends, each of the suspects carrying a passport with a different nationality. Now, Kim Jong-nam had reportedly sent his dictator brother a letter in about 2012 begging him to spare his and his family's life. But the 33-year-old North Korean despot has also had his own uncle killed and just months ago has had hundreds of other government officials killed. There isn't much mercy in that regime. Robin.
No, indeed not, Matt. Thank you.
All right, Robin. And now to a terrifying moment on an American Airlines flight. The plane forced to make an emergency landing after hitting a deer during takeoff. ABC's David Curley is in Los Angeles with the story. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Michael. The pilots didn't know they actually hit that deer, but in flight they were leaking fuel as they were going along.
As the American Airlines Embraer commuter jet is speeding down the runway to take off for Dallas, another pilot sees something.
A deer crossing on the Embraer. Okay, the Embraer just hit a deer.
But the jet is able to take off anyway, and even the pilots don't realize exactly what happened.
Did you hit something on the runway? No, we had a loud bang. Now we're coming back.
With jet fuel streaming out of its right wing, the aircraft makes a quick return to the Charlotte airport for an emergency landing. On the ground, the nearly 50 passengers and crew stream out of the jet, and firefighters start pouring on foam. Passengers say the jet was making some strange noises.
It was pretty loud. It didn't just sound like a street bump. It was like boom.
All of a sudden you could hear the bong, 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 bong going in front.
No one was injured, but the damage from the deer hit is clear on the right wing of the CRJ-700 jet. While deer strikes on roadways are common, there are 3,300 every day, there is less than one a week at an airport. But the more than 40 aircraft deer strikes a year on average usually do result in damage to the aircraft, like this one.
And that damage is costly. In the last 25 years, deer hits have actually cost aircraft, damaged aircraft, a total of nearly $60 million. Michael.
Wow. Okay, David, thanks very much. Amy right here with today's other top stories.
That's right, and people were saying this story I'm about to bring you sounded like a plane crash. It was actually a series of explosions and fires that lit up the night sky in eastern Washington state, and the fire was coming from a power substation. That explosion knocked out power in 3 cities. Investigators are blaming equipment failure. Well, a new immigration standoff this morning, this time in Denver, where a Mexican-born woman is taking refuge in a church to avoid deportation. Immigration officials say they denied Jeanette Vizguera's request to stay in the U.S. because of 2 misdemeanor convictions. The mother of 4 says she has worked and paid taxes here for 20 years. Well, federal prosecutors are conducting a criminal investigation of Fox News Channel. At issue is whether the company failed to tell investors about payments it made to employees who claimed they were sexually harassed by former chairman Roger Ailes. Fox says it is cooperating with that investigation. And finally, someone's trash just got turned into another man's treasure. Someone dumped this old television set at a recycling center in Canada, unaware that the previous owner had stashed $100,000 inside of it. He'd given the TV to a friend and forgot about the cash he says he stashed 30 years ago. It's a good thing the worker at the recycling center is an honest woman. She called police when she found the stash of cash, and they tracked down the rightful owner because there were documents in this cash box. Police have now understandably told the owner, you might want to put that in the bank.
How do you forget?
I don't know.
He must have been doing all right if he forgot that.
Yeah, that silly $100,000 that was on the TV.
Yeah, I tipped that much. It must be yeah. More snow here in the Northeast, Ginge.
Imagine 3 to 6 feet of snow have fallen in the last 9 days in parts of Maine. 3 to 6 feet, not inches. So you're seeing this video here, or this picture from Maine, the semis off. You know, a lot of places, even around Portland, had up to a foot or more just overnight. And from Connecticut, and we're not quite done yet. This storm will wrap up in the next 12 hours or so, but it's still in place. We still have those winter storm warnings and advisories, and a whole lot more coming up. Let's go ahead and get to the rainy cities now, brought to you by Silk.
Almonds, cashews, and coconuts. All delicious. Know what makes them better? Silk. Know what doesn't make them better? Sugar. Know what doesn't have any added sugar? Silk unsweetened almond, cashew, and coconut milks.
That sounds wonderful, Silk Man.
Oh, they're over there now.
Sweet!
Unsweet.
You're being too literal.
Silk tastes like better.
Feels
feels like temperatures this morning, teens and 20s to start. Factoring in the wind, it is just pretty cold for the start of our day. Daytime highs today getting into the lower 40s, and that's below average for this time of year. Some cloud cover mixing in with the sun. It's going to be a blustery afternoon. As we head into your holiday weekend, starting things out on Saturday, it looks like some sunshine coming our way with our daytime highs well above average in the 60s.
And coming up, a closer look at how Russia recruits agents inside the United States trying to disrupt our politics. Get in.